Kinjal Parmar. Welcome back to the video lecture series of Digital Fundamental. Today we will discuss digital logic families. Okay, so let's start. What is digital logic families? So digital logic families is a group of integrated circuit. Okay, it is a group of various integrated circuit which has same kind of logics that it may be implement, or it can be designed using same transistors, okay, or it can be using same types of components. So these all are the families, or says these all are the collections of integrated circuit to perform various operations but have same kinds of characteristics. Okay, same kind of characteristics. These logic families are basically differed in terms of this propagation delays and power dissipation, speeds and powers. Okay, so here we have a different kinds of integrated circuits. Okay, different kinds of integrated circuits and the collections of integrated circuit. These circuits are basically used to perform various logical operations. Okay, we know that we have a NAND gates, AND gates, NOR gates and etc. and how these all operations are performed with the help of this real-time applications. Okay, so how we can perform that? So using integrated circuit, in integrated circuit which we have either transistor, or we have a diodes, or we have a capacitors and some other electronics components. Using these components we can perform various logical operations. Okay, and the characteristics of that component is applied for the various logical operations to manipulate the values. Okay, so we have a different types of integrated circuits, and the types of integrated circuits components we have this logic families. Okay, here we have a classifications of logic families, that how we can classify the logic families. So depending on the component used, we have this types of logic families. We have a diode logic families, that is DL. Okay, diode logic, that means using only diodes we can make this integrated circuit to perform various operations. Then we have a DTL, that is diode transistor logic. Then we have a TTL, transistor logic. Then we have a ECL, that is emitter coupled logic. Then we have a CMOS logic. Okay, so here we have a different types of logic. Using this logic we manufacturer can make different integrated circuits, and using this integrated circuit one can perform various logical operations. Okay, out of all these logic families, this TTL and CMOS, okay, out of all the logic families, this TTL and CMOS is widely used because of its characteristics. Okay, this TTL and CMOS are widely used because of its characteristics. So what are the characteristics of logic families? So here we have a characteristics of logic families. First we have a fan in, that means number of inputs which can be connected to gates. Okay, number of inputs, fan in. We have a characteristic that using this amount of inputs we can perform a logical operation. So this is the important parameters to identify that this logic families are good or not. Okay, so if we have a higher number of fan in, that means we can connect any amount of input at other integrated circuit. So it is quite easy to implement, and it is easy to design, right? So here this fan in is the total number of inputs. Okay, fan in, that means total number of input. Then we have a next fan out, that means total number of loads or total number of output that can drive gate without impairment of operations. That means without any noise or without any problem we have our output. Okay, so we have a total number of output which can be produced by integrated circuit is another parameter to consider. Okay, then next we have a power dissipation. Power dissipation, that means power consumed by a gate. If some circuit consume less power and some circuit consume more power, so it is necessary that we have to use circuit which consume less power. Okay, so this is another important parameter for this logic families to consider, that is a power dissipation, that means power consumed by a gate. Then next we have a noise margin. Okay, next we have a noise margin, that means maximum amount of noise that our gate can handle or says our circuit can handle. Okay, noise margin, that means maximum amount of noise voltage that our circuit can handle, that is known as a noise margin. Then next we have a propagation delay. Propagation delay, that means if we provide input and then output is produced, so there is some delay between this input and there is output produced, so this delay is known as propagation delay. This delay is known as a propagation delay. If we have this output produced as soon as this inputs are applied, so this circuits are quite good. Okay, and if we have some circuit in which if we apply input and after some time we have outputs, okay, so these circuits are not as good as other circuits. Okay, so this propagation delay is also another characteristics to identify which circuits or which digital families are good. Okay, so these all are the 5 parameters to be considered for identify which logic families must be used. So we know that TTL and CMOS are very much good at all these 5 parameters. Okay, so this TTL and CMOS logics are widely used logic families. So let's discuss one by one this TTL and CMOS logic. So here we have a TTL, that is transistor logic. Okay, TTL, that is transistor logic. Here in this components or these circuits are designed using transistors. Okay, here these circuits are designed using transistors. It can perform varieties of operations and gain so much popularity due to its characteristics. Basic circuitry of this TTL is NAND gate. Okay, using this transistor and with pull-up resistor, okay, we can make circuits or this can perform this NAND operations. Okay, so basic circuitry in this TTL is NAND gate circuitry. This TTL circuitry has a very much good component characteristics. Okay, it has a less noise immunity, but it has a fan in up to 6, that means we can connect up to 6 number of inputs, then we have a fan out up to 10. Okay, so these all are the characteristics of TTL logic. Here we have this circuitry logic diagram or says circuit diagram of TTL NAND gate circuit. Okay, this is TTL NAND gate circuit. Here we have a Q1, this is our input terminals over here. Okay, here we have input A, input B. Here this is 2 input NAND gate circuit. Okay, so here we have a Q1 which is multi-emitter transistor, because here we have this A and B, so here we have a multi-emitter connections, and we can calculate output from the collector of this Q2. Okay, so here we have a Q2. This all are the pull-up resistors to control the current flow in the circuitry. Okay, and here we have this VCC, that is our power supply. Okay, VCC, this is our power supply. Now how this circuit works? So whenever any of the input are 0, okay, whenever any of the input are 0, either A is equals to 0 or B is equals to 0, so this Q1 is basically in a forward bias. Okay, whenever any of the input are 0, so this Q1 is in a forward bias. So when this Q1 is forward bias, so it is connected to Q2 with this base. Okay, so this Q2 goes in a reverse bias. Okay, this Q2 goes in a reverse bias, as this Q1 is in a forward bias, so it is in a saturation mode, and this Q2 goes in a reverse bias, so Q2 goes cut off. So basically it works like that. This Q1 is basically switch on, so there is a complete path, but for a Q2 there is a no path, there is a cutoff. Okay, for Q2 there is a no path, and as this power supply is VCC is applied like this, so there is a no path for this power supply to flow up to the ground. So all the voltage applied at a VCC is a flow at the output side at a Y. Okay, so when any of the input is 0, so all the power voltage VCC present at the output side, and no power supply is grounded. But when all the inputs are equal to 1, okay, all the inputs are equal to 1, so basically this Q1 is in a reverse bias, so in a cutoff mode. This Q2 goes in a forward bias, so this is in a saturation mode. That means there is a complete path, so all the power supply from over here is grounded and no power supply is present, no voltage is present at the output side. So at the output side we have a 0, and we know that this is how this NAND gate works. Okay, so here we have a table for how this circuit works as NAND gates. Okay, as we discussed that whenever this any of the input are 0, so this Q1 goes in a saturation, Q2 goes in a cutoff, so we have output is equals to 1, and whenever both this A and B is equals to 1 1, so this Q1 goes in a cutoff, Q2 goes in a saturation, so we have a 0, and this is how NAND operations works. Okay, so here this procedure written when this any of the inputs are 0, this Q1 goes in a forward bias, so Q1 goes in a saturations, and when Q1 goes in a saturations, the base of this Q2 is at a low voltage, so Q2 goes in a reverse bias, and when Q2 goes in a reverse bias, so Q2 goes in a cutoff mode. So we have a logic 1, or all the VCC present at the output side. Okay, and when all inputs are 1, okay, when all inputs are 1, so this Q1 goes in a reverse bias, and when Q1 goes in a reverse bias, so this Q2 goes in a forward bias, and as Q2 goes in a forward bias, so we have a logic 0. Okay, because all the power supply or all the voltage applied is grounded. Okay, so this is how this TTL NAND circuit work, or this is how transistor logic works. Next we have a CMOS logic. Okay, CMOS logic is basically complementary metal oxide semiconductor. Okay, so here we have a N channel MOSFET and P channel MOSFET. N channel MOSFET and P channel MOSFETs are fabricated on a same platform, so it is known as CMOS. Okay, N channel MOSFET and P channel MOSFET are fabricated on a same platform, so using this CMOS we can perform various types of logical operations. Okay, this CMOS has various advantages. Due to this, CMOS logic is most widely used right now. Okay, it has a better noise immunity than low power consumptions, low propagations delays, flexible, reliable. Okay, so this all are the advantages. Due to this, CMOS logic is widely used. We can perform various logical operations using this CMOS. So here first we have a CMOS inverter. Okay, here we have a CMOS inverter. Here we have a one input, and here we have a for one input we have a two MOSFET. First is N channel MOSFET, second is P channel MOSFET, because here we use complementary MOSFET. Okay, that's why here we have a N channel MOSFET and P channel MOSFET. Okay, so here we have a Q1 which is N channel MOSFET, Q2 is P channel MOSFET. Okay, so whenever we have a V in is equals to 0, so this Q1 is off and this Q2 is on. So here this on and off basically work like switch on, switch off. Okay, so if we have this power supply is applied, so Q1 is off and Q2 is on. Okay, Q2 is on because these all are the exactly opposite of each other. So as one is on, then other is off. Okay, so whenever this power supply is applied, so whenever V in is equals to 0, this Q1 is off, Q2 is on. so this is complete path, so this power supply VDD can flow from Q1, but this Q2 is off, so there is a no path to flow from ground, so all the power, this voltage is present at the output side. So when Vin is equals to 0, this output is equals to 1. Okay, and when this Vin is equals to 1, so this Q1 is on and this Q2 is off. So here there is a no path to flow for this VDD voltage. So at the output side we have a nothing. So we have, whenever Vin is equals to 1, at the output side there is a no voltage, so we have a 0. So this is how CMOS inverter circuit work. Then next we have a CMOS NAND gate. Okay, so here we have a 2 input CMOS NAND gate. Here we have a A and B. So this N channel MOSFETs are connected serially, and this P channel MOSFET regarding input A and B are connected parallelly. Okay, this N channel MOSFET are connected serially, this P channel MOSFET are connected serially. Okay, so this P channel MOSFETs are connected parallelly. Okay, so how this works? So when any of the inputs are 0, okay, when any of the inputs are 0, so any of the inputs are 0, so any of the N channel MOSFETs are off, and regarding that P channel MOSFET are on. Okay, as P channel MOSFET are on, so there is a power VDD, this can be flow from any of the P channel MOSFET, because parallel connection, so it can either flow from this direction or it can flow from this direction, and this voltage is present at output side. So when any of the input are 0, so we have any of the P channel MOSFET on, so at output side we have a voltage, so we have a 1. But if A and B is equals to 1, so this N channel MOSFET are on, so P channel MOSFET are off, so the VDD cannot flow from this P channel MOSFET, so at output side we have a 0. So here we have this table how this circuit works. So when any of the 0 0, okay, any of the inputs are 0, so either Q1, this Q1 Q2 is off according to this 0, and this Q3 and Q4 is exactly opposite of Q1 Q2. According to that we have output is equals to 1 1. Okay, and if this A and B are equals to 1 1, so this Q1 and Q2 are on, so regarding this Q3 and Q4 are off. Okay, as this P channel MOSFET are connected parallelly, so both the paths are closed for power supply to flow, so here there is a no output voltage, so such that here we have a 0. So this is how CMOS NAND gate works. Next we have a CMOS NOR gate. In a CMOS NOR gate, this P channel MOSFETs are connected serially and N channel MOSFET are connected parallelly. So when both the inputs are basically applied over here, any of the inputs are 1, okay, any of the inputs are 1, so regarding that any of the P channel MOSFETs are basically closed, any of the P channel MOSFETs are closed, so there is a no connections to flow at the output side, there is a no path to flow for a current at the output side when any of the inputs are 1. But if both the inputs are 0, so this N channel MOSFET are off, regarding that P channel MOSFET are on, so there is a path to flow at the output side. So when this A and B both are equal to 0, this Q3 and Q4 both are on, so there is VDD can flow from this Q3 and Q4 through output side, so we have a voltage at the output side. So when A and B is equals to 0, we have a output 1, and for remaining conditions when any of the inputs are 1, there is a 1 P MOSFET must be off, so there is a no connection, so at output side there is a no voltage, so our output is equals to 0. So here we have a table that how this CMOS NOR gate circuit works. So when 0 0, so output side we have a 1, okay, but when any of the inputs are 1 or both the inputs are 1, so Q3 or Q4 any of are off, as due to serial connections we have a no path to flow, so we have a output 0. Okay, so this is how CMOS NOR logic works. Now up to here we discussed about normal logical, in which we have a 2 state, either 0 and 1, but we have some other logic in which we have a 3 state. So let's discuss about that. So here we have a next, that is tri-state logic. Tri-state logic in which we have a 3 state, 2 are normal in which we have a two state, that is logic 0 and logic 1. Okay, here we have a three state, out of which two are normal, that is logic 1, logic 0. We have a next stage, that is high impedance state. Okay, next we have a high impedance state in which we have a additional state. Okay, so here we have a basically three state, logic 0, logic 1 and high impedance state. Okay, this high impedance states behave like an open circuit, that there is a no logical significance at the output side. Okay, high impedance state is basically work as an open circuit and indicate that there is a no logical significance of input at the output side. Okay, here we have a logical diagram and this kind of truth table for this tri-state or says three-state logic. Okay, so here we have this triangle, so simply our inputs can flow in these directions. Okay, so here we have a normal input and control input. Okay, here we have a normal input and control input. If control input is equals to 1, so normal input is equals to output. Okay, so whatever the value of normal input, if A is equals to 0, so at output side we have a 0. If A is equals to 1, so at output side we have a 1. But if control input is equals to 0, okay, if control input C is equals to 0, then this circuit work as an open circuit and it goes in a high impedance states whenever C is equals to 1. So whatever the value of A, either 0 or 1, no any values, zeros or 1 can travel at output side. Okay, so whenever C is equals to 0, whenever C is equals to 0, there is a high impedance state. So when C is equals to 1, if A is equals to 0, so output is equals to 0. If A is equals to 1, output is equals to 1. But when C is equals to 0, then whatever the value of A, output is equals to in a high impedance. So this is three-state logic. So these all are the logic families and these all are the logic which are used to perform various logical operation using various integrated circuit. Thank you.